Hi everyone, Kasey Thompson here. One question we get asked quite often is what happens to you the moment that you die? So I wanted to kind of pass that on, talk to my angels and kind of saw what generally happens when people pass on. And usually just before someone dies, their soul starts to pull away from their body and they can start visualizing the other side. When this happens, your soul is starting to pull away from your body. Sometimes it appears like it's a white light or maybe a tunnel. People that die suddenly, let's just say like in a car accident or something like that where they didn't plan on dying, it just happens out of nowhere. A lot of times those people will pass and don't even know they've passed. They think they're just in a dream. And then you have people that, will pass on that know they're going to. They've maybe got cancer or some type of sickness, and they've got kind of, time, laid out that they know they've got another week or another month or something like that. In those situations, generally they will start having visitors, whether it be loved ones that have already passed on, whether it be their angels to kind of comfort them so they can kind of prepare for, moving on to the other side. This situation I personally experienced. My grandmother passed away. She had had a stroke, and the doctors gave her maybe a week or two to live, and she was on confined to a bed. Well, we had just had my oldest son, and he was the only grandson that my grandma had not seen yet. So she contacted my mother and said, hey, I've got 2 days until I'm passing on. My angels and my grandpa, who had already passed away, had come to visit her and said, you've got 2 days. So you need to see everybody that you're going to see within 48 hours. So we got in a car and we took off. And this was in southern Utah. And as we got there, like I said, she had a stroke, so she couldn't move her face and hadn't sat up in a few days. And as soon as we walked into the room, she sat up, which was miraculous. And she smiled. And we handed her our baby, my oldest son, and she held him, and we took some photos. So we took family photos. It was amazing. And then we decided it was time to go to lunch. As my mother told my grandmother we were leaving for lunch and we'd be right back within an hour, she started crying. My grandmother did. And my mother said, why are you crying? We'll be back in an hour. And she says, this will be the last time you see me. It's time for me to go. My angels are in the room. And at the time we thought that's a little odd, but whatever. So we left and we went to go get food. And within 15 minutes we got a phone call saying that my grandmother had passed and they had her on life support. So we rushed back to the hospital and got there, and they said, hey, she's on life support. Do you want us to pull it or not? So we decided to go ahead and pull it. And as soon as we did, her breathing started to slow down. And then within a few minutes, she took her last breath. And as she took her last breath, she sat straight up in her bed and looked straight up with her eyes and smiled, and then slowly laid back down. And technically that's impossible because she had a stroke and couldn't move her face. So the fact that she could move her face and smile and sit up, which she couldn't move, was just miraculous. So loved ones don't pass on generally without someone there and letting them know that things will be okay. And if they pass away suddenly, there will be loved ones and family there to comfort them. If it's something that they know they're going to pass away due to illness, they will start generally seeing loved ones come to visit them or their guardian angels. Hopefully that answers that. God bless and have an amazing day.